Hello everyone. Today's lectures we're going to uh, show you how to install a Python development environment called Anaconda development environment and set up your working environment for your optimization classes, OR classes, or for the machine learning classes and using a different environment, virtual environment. We're going to show you how to set it up first, and then we show you how to install IBM Cplex Python interface in the next video. So here today we're going to just talking about how to install Anaconda environment. First, you open a new tab, either on on your Chrome or on your Firefox or any browser. You type in Anaconda Python. Okay, so this is where you get the Python development environment. Say, downloaded Anaconda over here, and based on your platform, either Linux or Mac, Apple Mac OS and or Windows. And installation on the Mac OS and or the Linux should be more straightforward and easy. And today we're going to focus on showing you how to set up these environments in the under Windows platform, because it's a little bit more complicated. So you can download it from here, and then we go over. I already had a download to my desktop. Okay. Okay, we downloaded over here. So I'm going to just install it. It takes a few minutes to burn up. And this is the place you can actually set it up. For Windows 10, you make sure you have a 64-bit, and if you have a 64-bit environment. So here I'm going to go through a couple ones, and I would recommend you to just using just for me, and that's recommended by the Anaconda. And if you are set it up for a lab computer or set up for multiple user on this computer, then you say all user can use it. And then you install this Anaconda in a directory. And so here I want to add Anaconda 3 into my path environments, and make sure the Anaconda 3 by default is Python 3.9, and these are the compatible version of the Python with both the Cplex and Gurobi's optimizer. Since we are using the we're teaching the 780s, and right now it's OR classes. This is what we use. Okay, so it takes a while to install. I'm going to skip over to until the installation is done. All right, that's the installation is complete. Let's finish this, and you can go to the tutorial session, and let's get started with the Anaconda. So after download installation, you can go to you see an Anaconda folders right here, and you should be able to launch the so-called Anaconda Navigator. This is the main interface Anaconda development environment has. All right, this is the environments we have. And here we can see that these are the default application actually on Anaconda install. For example, the Jupyter Notebook is the basic things we're going to use for this class. And also there is a text-based editor plus combiner called Spider, which is the standard Python development interface for your project. And here we want you to notice under the window there are two things: is a command prompt for Anaconda environment and PowerShare. And on the top right here is the environments you have. The basic environment is the base environment. So here, the base environment is providing a base for all our Anaconda development, but for different project or different course, you might want to set up a unique environment for your project or courses. And here I'm trying to show you how to easily create a virtual environments right here. So this is the basic environment called root, and actually these are the software actually available under this. And also here we're trying to create a environment just for our class. Lower left corner you see a create button. You say create and you type in a name you prefer, and since this is I'm going to call IMSC 780, which is one of the environment just for this class. And if you're learning a machine learning class, and you can type a machine learning environment, so on and so forth. So the names you can specify. Make sure you choose the Python version 3.9 something. 13 is I think is the newest one. So create this environment. So you see now I have two environments right here. One is the base, one is the IMSC 780. Now you see this new environment has been set up, and not too much of software has been installed. We need to install some basic things so we can go ahead use later on for installing Cplex Python API. Go back to your home, make sure this environment is for IMSC 780 or whatever new environment you just created. Need to install a couple things. First, you need to install the command prompt environment, and then Jupyter Notebook, and most likely you want to install the Spider, which is the text editor-based development environment with the combiner. All right. This is done, so I'm going to install Jupyter Notebook. Okay, Jupyter Notebook installed. I will install usually this PowerShare prompt. It's almost the same as the command prompt by using a PowerShare environment. These are helping us to install software later on, make updates, and also install the Cplex and Gurobi environment. Okay. Finally, we're going to install the spider, and it takes a little bit long time, so I'm going to skip over until it's done installation. Okay, all the required software was installed properly, and we can try to launch the Jupyter Notebook from here. And it will open the web interface and show you this is your Jupyter Notebook initially. And where is this actually this located for the root directory for for the Mac OS and the Linux actually, and these two are easier. This is your home directory, but for Windows, the home directory is a little bit more awkward. So I'm going to run this, open Windows File Explorer, go down to your PC and use a C drive. And many times you can also see this for yourself. It's under user and your username. For example, my username is CHW13, and this is the folders and the Jupyter Notebook by default setting up. Some of you asked me, what if I have my class materials and everything organized in different folder? And for example, over here I have a Dropbox, I have OneDrive from K-State, I have a Dropbox for personal purpose, and we will show you later on how to make a so-called directory, a link directly under this environment, so you can always reach them from here instead of jumping out. So this is the default directory, is your user directory on this under C Windows, C users and your username. Okay, so this is the directory default and Jupyter Notebook has. And also you can now launch the Spider environment, which is the text-based IDE. Okay, this is the text-based IDE for you, and it gives you a default Python template. So this is two alternative Python program development environments you can use. Either one is text-based, one is a more web-based. Okay, for example, I can now loading a Python code Jupyter Notebook environment, and this is going to be a tutorial we're going to use later on to show you how to install and test out your Cplex installation. And so this is more of web-based, and the Jupyter Notebook can contain documentation, illustration, table, figures, mathematical equation, along with your code. Okay, so we can have quite a bit of a code, quite a bit of description or introduction, then you embed your code inside the Jupyter Notebook. I think if you go over the Python bootcamp classes, lectures we have, you already somehow familiar with it. And this lecture is just going to show you how to install the Python environment. One thing, you can also access the Jupyter Notebook directly from the Start menu right here, and you can choose the environment of the Jupyter Notebook. One is the base, Anaconda 3 is the base, and IMSC 780 is the one I just created. Okay, so here, since we have the command prompt and PowerShare both installed, and this is the things we have, uh, now we're going to ask you to run one of those command prompt for IMSC 780, and I'm going to actually, and this is the default environment, is the C user chw13 is my home directory, and I'm going to show you how to install some of the default Python packages for this class. I have it downloaded from the class website, and you can actually download it from. If you go to the Python online training prerequisites modules and on Canvas, you can actually download this requirement file from here and put it on your desktop. Here I already have it on the desktop, so I'm going to open for you to see. And these are small lists of software packages we're going to use for our class. I'm showing you how to install it. Okay, based on this, we come back to this environment, command prompt environment for. Make sure you launch the environment for IMSC 780. And the prompt also have IMSC 780. That's the virtual environment you just created. So here I'm going to have install these. I'm going to change my current directory into desktop. Okay. Let me see if I have anything. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to change to the directory on desktop. Since I'm using OneDrive as my login, so my desktop should be under OneDrive and desktop. Okay. And yours is maybe just desktop, and depends on how the environment you set up. If you log in your laptop using the Microsoft ID, and then this is what you have. Otherwise, it's just the username under C :/user, whatever username is, and then desktop. So I'm going to show you what I have on the desktop, and you will see these are the link I have on the desktop. And there is a file called requirements right here. I'm going to use that as part of the installation and all the software. So here I already pre-select certain software you might need for this class, using as you can install them all together. Okay, so here we have installed the software called using Conda. This is the application Conda environment. So I'm going to use install. I'm going to using file and using that file name requirement. Okay. It will take some time to install all the software using that file, the software specified in that file. I'm going to skip it over this and show you what type of corresponding compatible software and it needs to install. So I'm going to say yes, and it will take a while to install. I'm going to skip it over until we finish. Okay, we finished the installation, and all the software I specify in that requirement.txt file has been installed. And next thing we do is we're going to run a update. Okay, so of my current, see if it's most current. And the syntax of that is Anaconda update, and I'm going to update the base first. So the name is base, and using Conda software. So here I'm trying to update the software for the base, then the software for the IMSC 780, the new environment I just created. So this is usually the environment I use. I'm using a base environment, so keep the minimal required packages and create different virtual environment for my different class, my different projects, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to say yes to this. Next, what we do is we're going to update for IMSC 780. All you have to do is say conda update double dash and all, and it will update the current virtual environments. This is usually I run it for every week, so we can actually keep the my packages, Python packages, up to date. Next items we're going to go over is how to set up a directory link to the environment you have. For example, in Anaconda environment, the default environment is your users and whatever your username is, which is the Jupyter Notebook default environment. However, for example, if I have my files, all my class file is in the following directory. I have a Dropbox and class, and IMSC 785 for 2022. So this is my the path I save all my class materials in Jupyter Notebook, and all my Cplex files are here. So how do I create a virtual link to this my user directory? So that's what we're going to talk about. Oops, sorry. This one. So this one, what we do is we're going to jump up to a couple of directory we have. Okay, so this is our user directory right now, and I'm going to create a virtual link actually from at this point to whatever file I have. So what I'm doing is using an MK link under here and using a flag called /j, and first is my links are going to be, I'm going to call it 780, for example, for 2022. And the link I'm going to use is where is this folder is going to link to physically. So here what I have is current directory and supposedly Dropbox. Okay, and then supposedly it's in my class folder, IMSC 780 fall 2022. Okay, so this is the folder I'm going to use, and here I'm going to, once I create this junction of virtual directory, and now you can see that I create a IMSC 780 for 2022 is linked to this physical location. that particular file folder is. And also now you can go back to your Jupyter Notebook default, and you'll see that this is the folder you have. When you go in, you see all the file and physically located in a different location. Actually, it looks like it's created in the link right here. So now I can go to the example, okay, and math programming and Jupyter Notebook section and tutorial. Later on, we're going to go in for launch some of the Jupyter Notebook. So this is how we can quickly create a symbolic link to where your classes file store to your home directory. So and I can easily go back to my home directory, which is the C user backslash whatever username you have. Okay, so this pretty much finished some of the introduction, how to set up a Anaconda Python development environment for your class, and I'm specifically showing how to do this in Windows, because the setup for Windows is a little bit more complicated as compared to Mac OS and Linux environment. Okay, so thank you. We'll see you in the next lecture talking about how to install Cplex and Gurobi in the future lectures. Thank you.